Hi and welcome back to tutorial 5. So last time we spoke about how these images, we have a set number for the width and the height. So here we have like 150 for example and 25 for the height. And this looks good on the iPhone, but when we change it to a larger device like an iPad, it's still 25 and it's still 150, and that looks a lot smaller, and that's going to cause us some problems if we have to keep rewriting code for different platforms. So to counteract that issue, what we can do is find out what the display width is of the device and the display height of the device, and then base our code around that, since that will change for each device. So if we want to find out the display width, we would do display.content width, and the height would be display.content height. And of course, if we want to use these variables, if we want to use these as variables in our code, we need to, store them in variables. So I'm going to create a variable called local full width, and I'm going to say that's equal to the display.content width, and I'm going to do local full height, and I'm going to say that's equal to the display.content height. We could have called this anything else. We could have just done, for example, _h if I wanted to, but I'm going to just do full height because to me that's a little bit more clear. Alright, great, so that's done now. So let's start changing our our absolute values, so the numbers, these fixed pixel values, and let's change them to ones based around full width. And just to kind of reiterate the point, if we look at the iPhone one, it looks okay. It's kind of the size of the screen, these platforms. But if I change it to iPad, you can see it's tiny, so that's no good. We want something that it scales depending on the device. So once we've changed these values, it should scale properly. So let's change this instead of it saying 300, let's change it to full width, times that by if I had 0.5, it would be half the size of the screen. So that's half the size of the screen if it was flat out anyway. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to say 0.4, and for the height I'm going to do full height times 0.1, and let's see, that might be a bit big. Yeah, it's a bit too chunky, so I'm going to do 0.05 and save that. So the way this works is if I had times by 1, it will be the entire width of the screen, which is that. So if I did it by 0.5, it's going to be half the size, and if it's smaller, it gets, as this number gets smaller, it gets smaller. Okay, so let's change the x values as well. So instead of 150, I'm going to do full width times 0.3, and I'm going to do full height times 0.3 as well. I'm also going to change the rotation from 45 to 30. Let's change our other rectangle as well. Now we don't necessarily need to keep on typing out code like this, my rectangle dot. We could just change these values here. We could have done it for here too. Maybe we'll do that later on. But for now, let's just fix these ones. So let's get rid of these values, and let's change the x value on this to full width times 0.7, so shift it a little bit more, and let's change the height full height times let's bring it a lot lower, so let's bring it down there, and let's change these values to the same as these, so the width and the height. And as we go on, we can change this. We might find that this isn't really exactly how we want it. We might think, I mean, these look already too thick to me, so maybe we'll end up changing it. Okay, great, so that's that done. We should also change this circle as well. So let's go and let's change this to full width times 0.25. That's the x value for this, and this is the y value, so full height times 0.1, and we're going to have a radius. So the radius is the point from the center to the outside, so we're going to have that as full width times 0.05, and let's save that. That's a lot better, it's a lot smaller, and it's looking a lot more like what we had, what I showed you earlier on in the first tutorial. Let's just make sure it looks the same in each device, or at least the larger ones. There we go. So you can see now it fits in a lot better than what it did before. So we're going to stop this tutorial here. In the next tutorial we'll look at adding physics to this so this ball is bouncing off the platforms. If you like this video, hit the like button, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one.